are back for our weekly stream, Get Resource, where we chat everything about our relationships, communication, anything that helps us resource back to self, source, and others, because life is all about relationships and how we relate to everything around us. We always like to open up with our check in question. Summer, what's alive in you?
Um, feeling a little heavy today. My voice is a little raw. I'm crying a lot. I've got my new hat on because there's a foot of snow here and it's cold. There's a real need for like rest, physical but emotional rest is what I'm feeling. What's alive in you, Dre?
Hmm. Yeah, just want to acknowledge our soul brother Chris. No, he passed yeah, last Thursday there, and yeah, in honoring of him, feeling my presence, and I'm just lining in that space of gratitude and inspiration, a sort of celebration of what he's given me and how he's influenced me. And so I do feel alive and excited about this conversation because I'd say it's been inspired with what he shared. Yeah, the last time we connected. And so that's where I'm at. That's what's alive in me today. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Chris was often here on Restream with his comments, and so we're bringing him here today with us, even though he's not physically here, because he had a lot of wisdom to share. And I think next week we'll perhaps even play some of his wisdom. We want to give his family first witnessing of it, I guess. But we were gifted to spend some of the last moments with him. And it seems as though he's got a lot of, it's so strange, you know, Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, people aren't necessarily recognized when they're alive for their wisdom and their gifts. And it seems as though, well, I know life continues on the other side. And there's a lot of power and magic that's happening. Even though I miss his physical presence, I'm seeing a way that community is coming together in such a powerful way in and around his celebration of life, and how all the people that he touched now are going to get to really know each other. And it's creating connections and ripples in ways that he couldn't have done while he was here. And it's quite profound for anyone who struggles to think that they need to create meaning while they're here. It doesn't end here. And there are so many friends and others who have felt his presence and his teachings in a way that has profoundly shifted their lives over the last week here, including myself. So as a human race, as we start to be able to feel the other realms, we know that people's presence, their effect, your effect, does not end by what you do here. And I know Chris would say it's really, really, really about how you can be with others. And Chris really talked about witnessing, mentoring, but also witnessing, and he called it the transfer of information through the witnessing. And just gonna invite you to expand on what that is, Dre,
Yeah,
in your own words.
that's beautiful. I mean, there's a couple threads there that open for me is like my relationship with death, and to cultivate that relationship with death in a way that brings me closer to life and to everyone around me. Like his death here on the physical planet is going to bring people together, not only bringing people together, but bringing together the wisdom that he shared, right? Him being a white man, living the indigenous ways, right? There's no that separation of races or cultures, but there's only one race, the human race. And so to learn and acknowledge that, you know, the society I live in right now in the West is so distanced itself from the relationship with death and the ceremonies and the rituals around it, that for me, his passing is a celebration of his life and what's alive in his teachings. And one such he passed on to us is the power of witnessing, that there's an energetic transfer that happens with the person sharing and the person observing and listening, as if both lives are transformed through that witnessing. And I've experienced this firsthand for myself in the spaces I've held, been a part of, that it's exponential when I get to just be human with in front of another. For example, shame that I hold on, that I think I'm the only one dealing with this issue, that I have this burden myself. But when I get to share it with someone that's able to hold it in a sacred way, it's like, whoa, there's a lightness that comes with it that transmute that shame into this self compassion for myself and grace, because I receive that from another. And when I hear someone that's going through something and I witness that, I have so much grace and compassion for them. And it just goes back down to that, like, we are wired to be with each other. We're social creatures. And how these cookie cutter homes and driving into 9 to 5 jobs has really created this isolistic separation, that if I were to, we're all, especially during winter, right? When it's cold, when it's dark quickly, each of us deeply yearns to be part of a village, to grasp for something that is real and connective. And we are doing that in other ways, like social media, doom scrolling, right? Or messaging on, let's say, Discord, right? On Facebook, whatever platforms. We are yearning to get connected. Though I find these platforms are sort of like junk food. It's not the real thing. And once I have real food, when I'm in front of someone in a real way, it's so nourishing to the soul, to the being, that it's healing on its own. That's why I believe we're yearning and desiring to be a village, but we don't know how to be our villagers ourselves. And so I like to pass that on to you, and what comes alive in you when I say that, like this deep yearning to be part of a village, but we don't know how to be a villager ourselves.
Right. I mean, part of that was being part of a sweat with Chris's family. I want to deeply acknowledge the presence I felt and the awareness that I never had that kind of ability. In my family, the rituals, the coming together in that way, um, it also reminds me of something from Dr. Wise. He talks about the family reunions and how people heal when people can be real, when they can be witnessed in a moment of time. And what I remember about being there, which was just on Monday, was the cries of anguish that people were able to express. Whereas if I were to judge from my white Anglo-Saxon background, we're all very prim and proper, just like we are every other part of the day at a funeral. We're all wearing black. Some might cry. But the guttural cries, it was different. And Chris was white, and he served the Sundance for 25 years. And just speaking from my own perceptions, because I know how different is that I see it more as the true type of reconciliation. Maybe not some of what I observe might be platitudes in a political strait, but as humans that just come together to feel and to be witnessed in their feeling. And as Chris said, there's a transfer in that feeling of what's actually real. Not the way we're supposed to act, not what we should say, but what's honest. And the feeling, and also not even also in a heavy, I'm wearing this hat. It's almost silly, right? It's hilarious. Chris was funny. Man. You know, we don't have to be so serious all the time either. It's almost funny of what we take so seriously here.
Yeah, yeah. To bring that joy and fun and laughter, right? Chris has a great way of making me laugh all the time. He is a funny guy, funny, extremely funny and witty. And for me to reflect that back in me is when I started my sales career, why I chose sales was I admire the confidence that these salespeople had, the charisma and the ability to connect with people, and I wanted to bring that online in me. And so where I bring this to myself in the present moment is that Chris is showing me how to not take life so seriously. How can I bring more online my inner jester, my trickster? Just have fun and poke fun at life. It doesn't have to be so serious. And it's definitely a sign of wisdom and maturity for me to not take things seriously, to find the joy and the laughter and the fun of what's happening in the world, right? And so it inspires me to take improv and just be more myself and joke and be funny and be weird, right? Just as he would, in my judgment. Yeah. Mm. And so going back to this energetic transfer, like we talk about witnessing and this idea of being the hollow bone or hollow bamboo. Love to hear from you. I mean, I see the chat here. I'm going to pop it open. Yeah. Naomi says, love the hat. She's listening while she drives. Um, where, have you found yourself in places where you were witnessed or you're witnessing another in their grief, in their pain, or perhaps in their joy, in their celebration? How did that make you feel? What did you notice in you? For me, I feel alive, like when I do see anguish and I can be with that. I never used to be like that. I used to be like, oh, I want to stay with it. I couldn't handle it, right? Whatever story I told myself. But just being with it and not even having to say anything, just the presence itself is very meaningful. And so I'll speak for myself going back to this village idea, um, that I just want to name as I explore culture making, that I see this idea of living as a nuclear family starting to fall apart. That this nuclear family is a remnant of the industrial revolution, where it used to be one provider was enough, and now you need two providers, right? With inflation, cost of goods going up, and now we're made more aware that wait a minute, this structure of two to place kind of community responsibility on is very fragile. It's just too much responsibility to place upon two people. Where our ancestors, the people before us, had a community, had uncles, brothers, grandfathers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters. Now we're placing solely that community onto our beloved, onto our partner. That is a lot. That is a lot. And it's not working anymore. I'm sure you can resonate with that. The amount of stress, right? The amount of like, I can't find time anywhere. We are feeling it, all feeling it right now. So, how can we bring the village here? How can we bring the support here and what we have, what I judge as an isolating culture, right? How do we do that? I'd love to hear from you, Summer, if anything comes alive in you on that.
I mean, it's a great question. Um, we were part of something in the summer that was called Remembering the Village. And remembering our true humanness. Remembered means to put back together again. And it's about presence. I mean, Eckhart Tolle was quite brilliant when he wrote his book, The Power of Now. I think we've been taught to plan, to live out into the future, and sometimes look into the past when we focus on what they might call trauma. But the truth is, when you can sit in a group, and I experience this quite often, I'm very grateful for the group of women in the Soul Truth Academy, or Empowered Empath Academies, as we call it, that are learning, because I think many of us don't even know how to do something as simple as, oh, check in with my body. What am I noticing? What's true? And then translate that and speak that in the moment. We often don't do that. We often say what we think we should say. And starting to be able to feel and know when once someone is speaking what's true for them. Like, what's going on in their body? What sensations? What emotions? What's the field that they're truly tapping into? Not what they think they should be, not what they think the answers that they should answer, like we do in school. Put your hand up, who's got the right answer? There's no right answer. There's no one right answer to anything. And it's so hard for some people to know that, when we've been taught that our whole lives. The answer is what's alive in you, in the moment, now. And it's so hard for so many of us just to speak what's alive, what's living in us, whether that's sorrow or grief. We've been told, oh man, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Well, I think we're moving it into remembering why we have emotions. Those things that move through us, they're just always moving. If we're present to them, if we're giving them witness, as Chris, to bear witness, as we bear witness, they move in 30 to 90 seconds. We don't need to be depressed for 40 years. When we can witness someone in their honest expression, it is the greatest gift. People always think, oh, I'm going to be a bird. And I'm not going to say what I really feel because it sounds like I'm complaining. But when we speak for what we feel rather than complaining is a head thing, it's a judgment thing, it's a thought thing. When we speak to what's alive in us in the moment, as Chris would say, it transfers intelligence from one person to another. That's the true intelligence of the body and of the collective, I would say, nervous system that we live in, that we've forgotten, that we are starting to remember, and that I believe Chris's passing is revealing to at least a small number, which might be 3 or 4 or 500 people or even more. It's revealing a quickening of, as a species, who we truly, truly are. And that is that there is no time. Time's an illusion. And so is money. And that's not to say that that's still not important in our current culture, but it is not what's actually, I would say, real.
I love the piece of presence, bringing the here now is I can bring that by being present with around me, right? As simple as, being present stranger. I always kind of frame this as like everything had happened perfectly right before we meet for us to meet at this point of time. Isn't that a miracle? So why not just look at that man or woman in the eye and do a nod and just acknowledge their presence, bringing presence, right? Present. If you're a kid to a play park, sharing a laugh with a fellow parent, you know, having a genuine smile with a coworker, maybe around the water cooler, having some real conversations with some friends, and if you think of someone in your head, and I do this often, is like, oh, I'm thinking of this person. I'm going to reach out, send a message. How are you really? How are you really? To show that it's not a burden. It's not a burden to share. And there's a distinction that you shared, babe, about like how I can come from the head or come from what's in here. And we all feel the difference of like we've been around someone that's been sharing a story, maybe my judgment over and over again, complaining or judging or gossiping, right? And it can be draining. It can be draining on the other side, right? I'm like, oh,
No.
right?
I'd like to say that
Call
it
that,
is draining. Sorry, but it is
yeah,
draining. It could not be draining. It could be. No, it is draining.
it is draining. Definitively, it's according to Summer, and I feel it. And it's coming from my head, right? It's coming from like these what I call bullshit stories. After a while, it just gets tiring. So the invitation is not to say, "Hey, don't share." But checking in from this place of emotionally dumping, right, versus containment, and this witnessing of like, can I allow someone to witness my vulnerability? What is my relationship with what is going on in that story, right? How does that make me feel? What needs of mine are not being met? What's happening in my body? Is my chest heavy, or it reminds me of a memory in the past? When I bring it back to myself, it shifts. Others are there, want to be there, to offer you witnessing, to hear you, to see you, to validate your experience. When you own it, when you take responsibility for your feelings, thoughts, and outcomes, I always say, if every man and woman did that, we would have heaven on earth here right now. Can I catch myself when I'm slewing judgments, blaming, shaming people outside of me, labelling that's a bad man, that's a good man, you know, or woman? So how did what happened? How did that impact me within my inner reality? And that's what people are yearning for. That type of honesty, genuineness, realness, and connectiveness that we all then remember. Oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me for what it means to be a human being. Yeah. So thank you for sparking
Yeah.
that.
So welcome. I think what's coming to me right now in this moment is, AI. People are worried about AI is going to take over humanity. Humanity's already been taken over. Most of us are robots. As you go to work, we play, we do what we're supposed to do. We're already AI. AI is now, I think, allowing us actually to be more human in that we long, right? And this is part of, if you're in Edmonton, there's going to be some in-person gatherings every month. People maybe have gotten accustomed to Zoom and different things like that. And it's useful when there's a lot of snow or something happens, but there's something different about actually being with people. And if it scares you, it means you should do it. To bring yourself being okay to be with others also makes it okay to be with yourself. When it comes right back to it, it's about being with the village inside of ourselves, all the voices we hear, all the judgments we hear, all the ways that you talked about a good man and a bad man, or a good woman and a bad woman. The ways that we've decided this part of me is good and this part of me bad. This is the part I'll show people and this is the part I won't show people. As we come to bear witness to others in a community that are doing that, we start to learn, holy shit. Oh, I can share that. In fact, it's a gift to share that. Oh my gosh, really? It's a total inversion of what we've believed as we come out of what I call the emotional dark ages of thinking that our emotions are these appendages that are useless, whereas they are actually the most important internal guidance mechanism that we have. It's when we judge them, and this is what most people don't know, is that we have this core sensation that we feel. We judge them and we create a story, and then we are angry or we feel some other kind of story. And these are the things that we express that really are very useless. But most of us don't know the difference between the core emotion and those that are layered with stories, because we've been, I guess, indoctrinated to believe that our core essence and our nature to be an emotional species is wrong. And you don't want to just express emotions all the time, right? There is a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sacred space for it. Just like there is at work. You go to work and you're doing and you're achieving certain things. What we've missed is the space. And the picture I see right now, an African tribe, they would work, they would hunt, they would gather, and then they would come and be together around the fire. They would break bread together. And now families aren't even eating together. Man, one sits in front of the TV, they get their own microwave oven thing and they do that. It's a time to bring back the being part together. And like you say, that nuclear family now where we have to work 2 jobs and now people are working 3 and 4. How many jobs can people work before they're dead? It's calling us back. It's a natural order of things, I guess, a swing that happens naturally in cultures over time.
Yeah. being aware of like swinging too far, right? That's the mistake that humans do. Is like history doesn't repeat itself, man does. And so just recognizing it's not swinging from one side to the other. It's taking wisdom of the both extremes and walking that middle path. There's a time and place to share emotions, and there's a time and place not to, right? It makes sense to. It's just not this idea of having to kill a part of myself away. Right? I can never actually kill a part of myself away. It's part of me. I actually put it into a hurt locker, and it's gonna come out anyways, right? It's holding a beach ball underwater. It takes a lot of energy to do that. So, like, I love how you said, Summer, about how can it be with the village within myself, the the parts, all of it within myself, and approach it from a place of kindness and compassion and grace. And I'm talking to myself here, being noticing that inner critic, that judge that I have, right? And doing some work on it continuously. So easy that it happens so quickly that I go into story of I'm not good enough, right? How I judge myself for mistakes I do, the shame that I build up, the burdens, you know, and that oh shoot, I realize it's the judge that's running the show now, the Yondo, and not me, right? Not myself, and that requires what, Summer? Like you said earlier, presence. It requires me to slow down and be with the village within myself and cultivate that presence and to care for both. Care for the one that wants to get me to keep working and the one that wants me to rest. Where I get torn is when I believe one or the other and I back and forth. I work hard and I'm thinking about rest. And I'm resting. I'm thinking about I'm not present with the work that I do and I'm not present with the rest that I give in myself. I'm learning this continuously. Be with both, the care for both. How can I do some meaningful work and rest at time? Yeah. Mm. Love how it kind of shifts into the internal world. It really started. Yeah.
As within, so without. As above, so below. It's always,
Hmm.
yeah.
But yeah, like continue with that thread that Summer shared about we're looking at whole monthly gatherings, in-person gatherings to get together and just be together. And so that's going to be in the works. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to actually practice the presence, the getting out of the judgments. And oh, here's the other part that I want to add to that because in the UK, they're doing that technology free. Phones, maybe we put them all in a basket at the front door. Not even there to ring or to fiddle with or to turn off. They're all at the front door in a basket. So we can start returning. People used to read books in the same room together. They used to color or draw or do puzzles together. But people now, when they're together, they just scroll on phones. So yeah, actually, I want to introduce that part of it too. Just
Yeah. I
this
love that.
place of being, not even offering, have a workshop day and have a being night. Just come to be. That's it. And we get to
Come to
be
be a
too.
human being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's what we'll call it.
Technology
Come to
detox.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
come to be human. To talk. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Ooh,
Mm.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Right. Ooh.
Yes. Mhm.
Mm. And yeah, practice being like relating, authentic. You could call it authentic relating, conscious relating, just practicing those skills. That's innate. That is innate. And,
I have a
with
better.
Chris honoring, yeah, I'll finish this one thought with Chris saying
Yes.
the energetic transfer, when we get to witness this happening, like it brings certain parts of me online when I see it being modeled, right? But yeah, what do you got a better word?
Well, not better, but what if we called it present relating? Authentic, sometimes people are, well, what's authentic? Is this authentic? Is this authentic? But present means now. Now relating.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, those present relating moments, what starts building the village, man. Like,
Yes!
without needing an actual physical village, right? We can, if you look at quantum physics, we're all connected. We're all in the same soup. And if we can relate to each other in that way, even though we're in our separate homes, these like the mycelium network that the trees are all connected and communicating with each other. We're communicating in the same way. So how do we bring the village back into modernity? Because I could run to an eco, right? I can go off on like off property, and there's challenges to that. There's challenges to everything, conflict, stuff like that. So from one perspective, I could be I'm running away from my problems, right? So where I'm at, how can I, right? How can you bring that light, bring that consciousness to your workplace with your beingness, how you relate, and when you can practice in a space, oh, I get to be me and it feels safe and I can belong. I can start bringing those pieces online to wherever I go, right? Wherever I go, there I am. And Summer and I, we love to bring ourselves, the same selves, no matter the environment, no matter if it's work, church, at home. I'm the same person. I'm the same person. Okay. Hey, if I dig deeper into masks, personas that come online, offline, I'm going to name it, right? And we do our best. I'm not going to get too technical here. The invitation is just to be, right? Yeah, just to be human. And then we can bring the village where we're at. Yeah. Stitch us back into the social fabric that we all belong to already. Making it more loud.
Yes! Oh, Dre. So love what you're saying. Oh my God. Right? How do we bring the village here now? In present moment awareness, right? Present relating. That's what the village is present relating. That's it. People put the land first. Oh, I got all this land. Oh, I've got this machinery. I got the we don't need that. It's the people first. It's the present relating that's first. Otherwise, all the land and if you can't relate to people, you don't know what to do with the land. Oh, well, we're gonna grow vegetables and yeah, if you don't know how you're gonna harvest them, if you can't be with what is in the moment with other people, there's no point in having any of it.
Yeah. Right. And which is very empowering because I can start doing
Yeah.
this right now. I don't need to wait for like a trust fund or something or a bunch of money to fall in my lap, right? Or find particular people. I can do that right now. Right at the end of this call, you know what? I invite you. I invite you to connect meaningfully with the people around you, your coworker, your friend, first person you come in contact with, even just with eye contact, energetic, like, I see you. I see you. You're here in front of me, man. You're real, right? Rather than treating us as NPCs, there's a different quality to that. So that's what I invite you into is that we can start to look at ways to build the village inside myself with being present with myself and being present with the things around me so that we can address this loneliness epidemic and we can start fueling that campfire, the inner spark, one small shared moment at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And that's our invitation.
Hmm.
You, those sparks, those fires, the souls that inhabit the
Hmm.
bodies that you see, to remember them. And we remember them by speaking what's alive, what's inside of us, not the stuff that we're doing. The question is always like, oh, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm an engineer. I'm a. And that's why we start with the question, what's alive in you? I'm more interested in what your internal reality is.
Hmm.
I want to remember myself through you. I want to play. I want to have fun. You know, some people are way too serious about the doing, and then there's just no play. Man, I want to get back to play. I want to sing, and I want to do it with other people.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. And part of me feels called to this, just hold it here, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. We'll bring it to completion. And if you want more info about this monthly gathering that we're doing, like join our Facebook group. Information will be there. We'll be
Our
hosting other
Facebook
things as
group
well. Yeah.
is Get Resourced. Get Re-sourced group for conscious co-creating relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. We're brewing
With
it, right?
posts.
We're putting some ingredients in. And if this resonates with you, that's the call forward. I'm calling you forward to be part of us, be with us. If this lines up, right, we're looking for like-minded men and women and anyone that vibes with what we're putting out, to bring the village back here in modernity, to bring back ways of relating that are present in the here and now. Yeah.
If you don't have Facebook, that's okay too. Just DM us and we'll hook you up another way. It's just a
Yeah.
container for everybody to see who's in that community, because you will be meeting them also in person.
Yes. Yes. All right. Until next time. Dre signing off.
Sayonara.
Oh.
Bye.